Welcome to the Quick Stop F1 podcast. My name is Nyasha and you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. We appreciate that. Joining me after an electrifying qualifying session is producer Mario Perez. Mario, here's your cheering. There you go. Yay.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here. A little sad that I've lost a cousin this weekend, but happy to be here with you, Nyasha, at least.
There you go. You are the type of cousin who does not talk to me ever, and then they see one of my videos go viral and tell everyone that I am their cousin. And it gets like that when you're successful. I hear it. Another thing I would like to hear is the sound of you guys padding down on the like and subscribe button. Make sure you give us a 5-star review on Spotify, and make sure you give us a Apple Podcast if you're listening on Apple, and obviously if you want a pod ad free if you want the pod ad free, there is a Patreon and you can sign up to that below. Big up all the people who've just subscribed, appreciate you, and obviously the people that are there. We just did an interview on there with one of the most incredible and creative minds in F1, so go over and check that out. It's an interview with Nyasha from Quick Stop F1, laying some gems.
I was there
about
too.
You were there, and it's some good shit. But no, we'll be putting a lot more content out on there. But look, that was then, this is now, and we have just watched an enthralling Monaco GP qualifying. For all the shit that I give Monaco its qualifying session, because of the importance of it, because of how difficult it is to overtake during the race tomorrow, the qualifying takes even more importance. It's one of the shortest tracks on the calendar, which means the gaps are tiny, and what we saw today was Max Verstappen take pole fractionally ahead of Fernando Alonso as the last person on track, who was fractionally ahead of Charles Leclerc, with Esteban Ocon up there in fourth. Mario, who would have thought? Look, I'll get to Estie, because that is my bestie. Your thoughts on, what are your thoughts on the Monaco GP qualifying in general? Like, how did you find that?
Loved it. Loved every second. It was intense. It was competitive. It's interesting that they say so much that this is one of the races where it's mostly about the car mostly about the driver. Like the car performance isn't what sets you apart in this track, and then we have like teams that aren't typically up there be up there. So like the Alpines, Yuki. Does that mean that those drivers are overdriving a bad car? And they're that's one takeaway for me from this qualifying is like, if this is a qualifying that most depends on the driver, and we've got drivers that are typically not in the top 10 is that proof that the car is bad and the driver is good?
You have discombobulated my brain with that question. So yes, I will agree that, of course, Monaco, because of how it is tight, twisting around the streets, you've got, the walls are literally, you're either millimeters away from a perfect lap or putting in the wall, which we saw with a few people this weekend already in practice and qualifying. So I think it's, for sure, it is definitely, driver skill, judgment around the track. And you do see, or you can see results like with the ones we've seen today, with the Alpines higher than usual, and obviously Yuki up in ninth, which is a great result. So I think it's definitely testament to the driver. Of course, they are generally in grid order in terms of how quick they are, but there are different things, different proponents of cars which work well at different tracks. For example, Williams can make the top 10 sometimes of Albon on tracks where there's long straights because their car is good in a straight line. Obviously this track must favour the Alpines, but they had to keep it on the road to put it in the positions they did. So a bit of both, but for sure, big respect to the people that did well. One of whom was Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen. with a very dramatic lap at the end of the session. We're already having debate in the pre-production meeting about the merits of it, and I'm seeing some debate online. I guess Mario, Max Verstappen, he's stuck in on pole. He's stuck in on pole. To me, he is inevitable. He is Thanos. Run from it, hide from it. He arrives all the same on a track where Red Bull don't look that not as strong as they have. You know, they don't have the half a second gap that they normally have. For him to stick it on pole in the circumstances he did, unfortunately, this would have to warrant some respect on my side. I'm not gonna lie.
Very dramatic, the end. That Alonso lap really made, for a second you could really think that Alonso got it, that's Alonso's pole. But we saw Max twice when he needed to get out of the pit and put in one lap to get back his first place. And you could see on the last lap that Max finally got Max's pole position. It felt like Max was doing everything right in that lap. It looked super impressive.
Look,
and then Checo is in the King of the Streets is in the back now, and it's ooh, Max is doing this while King of the Streets is back there. That's rough.
Yeah, I mean, look, with Checo, we'll get to that, but it's, Checo went back to Monaco looking for the same thing. Sometimes you spin the block. Sometimes you go visit an area and, you'll hook up with someone, you'll have their number and everything's going great, and then you'll go back next year and, you'll text that same person and that text goes green. They blocked your number. And, one thing that was blocked was Checo's path through on his lap, but we'll get to him because that is disappointing for a lot of people, including the neutral for a world championship title fight.
What did you think about... Okay, first, what did you think? What did you feel seeing your baby being dangled by a cable just floating in the sky like that? How did you feel seeing her like that?
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, second question.
Okay, because I did just want to talk about Max real quick before we move on.
Okay. Okay.
So because Mercedes, man. I think it was just fucking crazy, Max. The way that he put that lap together, being able to go through. I think at the end of the day, he was 0.2 of a second down. No matter what we think about the car, being 0.2 of a second down with about 6 or 7 corners to go, if that, round Monaco, where it's the speed he was carrying through the swimming section, the swimming pool section, the speed he was carrying into the final corner, he tapped the wall 3 times in that lap. And look, that's the difference. We kind of saw it with, the lap that we take the piss out of all the time, the Saudi Arabia lap, where he was on the limit all the time. He hit the wall a couple of times in that lap as well. And then on that last corner, he thwacks it. And that was hilarious. Okay, I enjoyed that thoroughly, but honestly, I was watching him go around that lap. I sat there in front of my TV just literally please crash. I've never done that before in my life. Just sat there please crash. And he seeing him tapping the walls and that, I was like, he's got to crash. Yeah. And then he didn't do it. And then I was like, surely he's not done it. And he's done it. And you know what? As much as it pains me to say, I don't like Max Verstappen, the person. Okay? I think anyone watching this channel can say that. And what's hilarious is when I say that, people who don't like Lewis Hamilton, the person, wow, Lewis Hamilton bias, man. It's well, we have the same thing, just on different sides. But what I will say is, even my respect for Max wasn't that high as a driver. But today, honestly, I've been watching F1. Someone corrected me. Pick up the person who corrected me the other day, because I said I've been watching F1 since '96. And I was like, that's 20 years. And someone was like, no, that's nearly 30 years. I was like, oh my God, that's 27 years. So for 27 years, I've been watching F1. That was one of the best qualifying laps I've ever seen. I'm sorry to say it. Please don't turn off the podcast. We will move on. But that was incredible. And no matter what you want to say about the car, and no matter what you want to say about the person in the car has to do the job.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, Mario, Checo Perez, what the fuck is going on today?
It was so fast too. Like, it wasn't like it was almost at the beginning. Like, no, an unforced error. Like, and when they showed the replay, he fucking whacked that wall. Like, it looked like just he made a mistake on his own. Like, it didn't look like anything weird with the car, at least to me. Like, what was your impression? Was your impression more or less the same? Like, it seemed he lost the rear, but like because of himself, not because of the car.
Yeah, like, honestly, sorry. Someone's trying to contact me and I'm like, I am doing an audio-visual podcast right now. So that was careless. And I think sometimes you know, you can have excuses. So obviously there was the Williams, I think, coming out of the pit lane in his eye line in an environment where it's fine margins and stuff like that. Yes, that can take your concentration away, and yes, you can make mistakes, but the level of mistake that was, let me tell you now, if that was Nick de Vries, if that was Mick Schumacher, Latifi, Mazepin, we would be going in on them right now. That was some of the most amateur shit I've seen on that corner for a minute. And for a man who is supposed to be in a title fight, that was honestly embarrassing. Like, it was embarrassing. And it's unfortunate with Checo that not these things, but him having to come from the back happens at the two circuits on the calendar so far, which are probably the hardest for overtaking in Australia and Monaco. Because, as Christian Horner said on the interview, basically, he will. Thank you. Last time he was Max started from the back and he just about finished 10th, right? At this point, Checo, with what everyone is saying is a closer field spread, as we're seeing by these qualifying results, it's going to be very difficult for him to get into that top 10. If he gets 10th, he's going to look at that as, I mean, it's damage control, but it's the equivalent of putting a fucking plaster on a broken arm. So,
Exactly.
I don't know, but I guess. Why do you think he? What do you attribute it to?
I think it's easy for me to say, like you said, careless. So it's easy to say, like, yeah, he had a second. These are peak performance athletes. We are nothing compared to their reaction times, etc. So like it's weird for me to say he was careless because he is such an athlete. But if you look at it, it seemed like a manageable thing. It didn't seem like I feel like there was many options that he had to avoid that in that moment, and he just forgot to drive for a second.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Checo doesn't know how to drive because that'd be ridiculous. I'm saying that it did look for a second like he just forgot where he was and then just made a mistake. Because even Lewis, like when I think it was Q2 that Lewis hit the wall, like Lewis had the mind to go with the he didn't even try. They said it in the commentary that he didn't try to like fix his position too much.
Yeah.
Because he saw that it's most convenient to hit the front of the car, so that you don't mess with the back and the gearbox and stuff like that. So even then, like, you see drivers are in a situation where they're going to crash, and they still have the faculties of saying, like, okay, what's the best way I can crash best way meaning less damage, and it looked like Checo was in a situation where he could have done a lot of things, and he did none of the things.
Yeah, I think a couple of good points there. Like with that, the speed that he took into that corner was insane. Like, so unnecessarily quick, like you say. So that's the first issue. Like, it was just brazen. And maybe, look, the thing is, if it happened in Q3, maybe I'd be like, okay, you're pushing, you got to get on pole. But to do that in Q1, your teammates going around on fucking tyres that are like 5 laps old, setting lap times. You're there, like, sticking it in the wall. Like, it is, honestly, for me, I don't like using soft term stuff to describe what would probably be technical mistakes, right? So I think people sometimes people can sometimes place a narrative onto something that's happening. An example, Lewis goes slower than George. Lewis is feeling the pressure of being George's teammate. That is fucking false, right? In this instance, it feels like that looked like someone who knew that it was imperative that they get a good result this weekend. It was imperative they qualified ahead of Max this weekend. There's not that many street circuits left, although this whole thing about him being a street circuit specialist is honestly, like, again, narrative. And I hope he hasn't, like, fed into that, because now look at you. And in fact, let me pull up the tweet when I said, like, this street circuit narrative is too early, bro. If you've done it over fucking years. So Ayrton Senna, 4 races around Monaco, qualified on pole position, what was it, like 3 times in a row or something, or 4 times in a row? Like, that is what you call a narrative that is backed up by facts. Checo Perez sneaking a win last year because Ferrari fucked up in Monaco. I'm pretty sure he snuck a win in Jeddah, if that counts. Does that count as a street circuit? Maybe not. But
I think
maybe not actually. But there was another street circuit. I think it might have been Singapore, where I think he benefited from a safety car on that occasion as well. Like, guys, like, I know what I'm watching. You cannot trick me. And today, Checo Perez, you can't trick me. You're not the king of the streets, because the king of the streets wouldn't fucking do that. And his title charge is fucked. It's fucked now.
I think you hit it perfectly. What we can say above everything, it was super careless to do that shit Q1. Like that alone, that's what we can hit on extreme carelessness. Is that, bro? Just get to Q2, bro. Just get to Q3, and then in Q3, if you need it, go get it. But you didn't need to do that Q1 or Q2. Completely unnecessary.
Absolutely.
Or are you feeling the pressure that much?
I fucking hope not. We're only on race 6, bro. Like, we're literally a quarter of the way through the championship. Like, you can't be making mistakes like that. That is ridiculous. But look, congratulations to Max. Honestly, that doesn't feel nice to say. But look.
Is it time?
No, not yet. We'll get into that. But, like, for me, we could come on here and look, we could just fucking Colt LH it up or whatever, or Colt quick stop it up, and I could be like, yeah, fuck Verstappen, it was all the car, he's a fucking shit driver. It was a fluke, etc. Like, I could do that, and trust me, that would be fun. Like, I would enjoy that. And I take no joy from giving Max Verstappen his props. But I would be remiss to sit in front of this microphone and lie. And for me, I would be lying if I didn't say I was impressed with that. Now, Should I be impressed with it? That is up to you guys. That's up to everyone at home. And look, that's neither here nor there, but that's how I feel. And look, there's so much that happened in this Monaco Grand Prix. Jenson Button calling it the best qualifying session he's ever seen. And we're going to discuss all of that after these messages. We're back again! Don't piss me off. Left hand, right hand is a topic. Choose one.
Left hand.
That is Mercedes, right? Oh, the upgrades have arrived. The side pods are there. Oh God, have they? Have they arrived? I'm never. At the beginning of the season, I think I said this before. Was it the beginning of this season? Yeah, it was. I got a DM from someone, and they said, "Please, could you not prey on Max's downfall, because all that it did was make Mercedes worse." And I looked at that message for so long, and I was like, do you know how distraught that person must be to message me that? And I said, you know what?
Just looking for any solution. That person is looking for any solution.
Any grasping, absolutely grasping, clutching at straws, anything. Looking like Scar looking down on Mufasa, like, help me! And I said, you know what? Fine, I'm not going to prey on their downfall anymore. But I sprinkled a bit of that on George yesterday when I tweeted, like, oh, are the upgrades working on George's car, or does George have the upgrade? And literally since the point that I put that tweet in, it just went from bad to worse for Lewis. Not often. You know what? It's crazy. In my mind, I was actually thinking, like, all these drivers going off, man, my driver would never do that.
My driver would never.
Lewis! Lewis!
Not my driver, not my goat. Look at your driver on the wall. My driver sticks to the road.
Not often we see a mistake from Lewis. And yeah, like you say, lucky that he caught it. So it wasn't the rear going into the wall. So, you know, that would have been a gearbox change, suspension damage, etc. But well, obviously there was suspension damage on the front with the tyre absolutely fucked. But obviously, I think up to that point, Lewis was doing quite well. You know, it looked like he felt quite good in car. And at the point that he crashed, he was the quickest driver in the first sector. So obviously, you know, the track was kind of coming in, but that happened like 2 minutes or maybe a minute and a half before the session ended. So he would have been right up there, you know, with whatever the final times were. So, you know, thinking about it from that point of view, it looked like after that he could never really get a grip on the car. He didn't really have that confidence. But, you know, nevertheless, we put it on P6, I want to say.
P6.
P6 with
Russell,
George Russell, P8. But we have the image of a fucking Mercedes twerking on a crane.
Bro, that's crazy. You tweeted it, and it's so true. Imagine you wake up, open a window in that building, and boom, there's a Mercedes outside your fucking window.
Fucking crazy. Do you know what I mean? Imagine I'm just like having a party, impressing the girls. I'm like, you know, here I am. I live in Monaco. Look at the view. Oh my God, there's a fucking car out there. It's a fucking car. showing its fucking undercarriage to me. Like, baby girl, slow down. Like, honestly, like...
It's not what it looks like, baby. Come on.
Yeah,
she just showed up in my window.
Yeah, I don't know who she is. It's crazy girl. No, that is crazy. And look, the last thing Mercedes would have wanted was the new floor that they've just installed on the car being shown
Exposed.
to everyone. Bro, they lifted that car so high. It was so unnecessary. It was like an art installation.
But then they put a sheet on it. They put a sheet on it later.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. That horse has bolted to Mercedes. You might as well. Don't even, sometimes they put the barriers up when, they say that you can't block the garage unless you're working on the floor. So you can put don't even bother with them shits now. Invite Tom Clarkson. You might as well. You know what, Mercedes? Next time, get Tom Clarkson to interview Toto Wolff beyond the grid, and just have him sat in front of the floor. Because we might as well. What the fuck? Oh,
there's a grey screen behind Toto, and it's a huge ass projection of the bottom of the car.
Just the floor. Fuck me.
So how did you feel about Lewis during free practices and how he was talking about the car and how he was answering questions?
Well, yeah, P1 he looked good, P2 not so much. Obviously P3 today wasn't great. I think during qualifying, 100% he did not sound happy. Oh my god, my heart was like beating out of my chest watching Q1 and Q2 today. Like,
end of Q2.
Oh my god, that was some scary shit.
I told you Lewis is being so dramatic today. With the way he goes from Q1 to Q2 was crazy.
Man, when Lando Norris crashed in Q2 and there was 2 minutes left and I was like, oh my god, they're gonna red flag it and he's in 11th place. And I was like, Lando, you better push that car back to the pit. You're fucking dead.
Like the Flintstones, bro.
Yes. Fucking stomp through. Fucking hike that car around your waist like those 2010 belts and run yourself to the fucking pit. Incredible nose. I mean, look, we were on the edge on Q1, on the edge in Q2. And look, that's the thing about Monaco, I think, as well, which is why it's the best qualifying session of the year by far, is because the track just keeps getting quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. Even in Q3, the track is getting quicker and quicker. And the thing is, again, probably to Chris's point of Cameron when he was saying, it was like an air of inevitability to Verstappen. If you're the last person out on track with a fast car and a track that is fucking grip, you are going to go faster. So the grip was there for him to do that. Still ridiculous. But the conditions favoured him. But that's why in Q1, it's always down to the death. Q2 is down to the death. Q3 down to the last fucking car on track as to where everyone will finish, because that track, you just don't know. It's so unpredictable. I genuinely thought we weren't going to make it out of Q1 or Q2 today.
Q2 was literally on the last second.
For sure.
But to talk on your point, track evolution, I think nothing proves it more than I think Yuki jumped up to first for a minute. Like it was quick that he was first, but you could really see track evolution. What if we? Because I think it's a well-known thing that overtaking is so rare in racing. What if they extended this qualifying, just Monaco qualifying? What if they extended it?
No. Well, no. Because you then lose the thrill of the
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's like, you know, that's the thing, because it's like condensed. You'll get, I know people only get like 3-4 laps, so that's good. But what people are saying is, why don't we just make Monaco a time trial for the points and go from there? Like, you know, fuck all the racing. Let's just have a time trial. And fucking, you know, best person fucking wins from there, to be honest. So I think it's one of those things where the race, look, we'll see. We could have a classic. Charles Leclerc hinted that it might rain tomorrow, so we could have a classic. I would love to have a great race, just so we can have a race which justifies the qualifying that we just, or does justice to the qualifying that we just had.
Okay, so speak on that. We have Max, Alonso, and Leclerc. That's our top three. What is a good race for you?
Well, one potentially should. There might be some penalties for Leclerc. I don't know.
That's true. At the end of quali. Yep.
Yeah, so we might be looking.
Let me check.
Thank you. We might be looking at a Ocon P3 there. What constitutes a good race? That's a really good point. Because
like, what would make you feel? And it doesn't need to be like race was better than qualifying, but that it wasn't anticlimactic, or like peak was qualifying and race was meh. What would that look like for you?
I think look, the thing is with Monaco, the only way it's going to be exciting is if loads of people crash like every 2 minutes. Like, essentially, that's because no one. So I think last year on lap 30 or 33 or something was when they did the pit stops, and the order they were in on lap 30, when everyone went into the pits, basically, was the order they finished for 47 laps or some shit. Like that. So that gives you an impression of just how bad it is to overtake. So I would say probably a few crashes here and there. I think what would make something like 2019, where, you know, maybe someone puts on the wrong tires, and then, you know, we've got someone trying to overtake them for like a long period, and like they're, you know, it's not like just a procession, like someone's literally harrying the other person, you know, whether that's Max and Alonso or whatever. Or maybe, you know, it'd be cool if, you know, Max and Alonso pit, Ocon stays out, and then there's a fucking safety car or some shit, and then he's in the lead, and then can Max get past Ocon, you know, in a much faster car? That kind of thing. Give us something which kind of upsets how we view it. The thing is, if they race for 20-30 laps and then someone crashes and then they all come in, there's no jeopardy in that. What we need is jeopardy. And so hopefully, whether that's jeopardy in like an offset of tyre strategy, and jeopardy in terms of race, jeopardy in terms of rain, but again, it has to be changing conditions rain. Like when it goes from wet to dry or dry to wet. If it's just raining for 70 laps, again, doesn't make a difference. Makes it even worse. You can't go offline. So those are the ingredients for a good race in Monaco.
I agree. Nothing yet on the Leclerc. Like everybody's saying it's a slam dunk with regards to a penalty. Like it was clearly a case of slowing him down, but nothing official yet.
What a cursed person.
There's no other way to say it.
Like, how have you had this much bad? I mean, this is his fault. To be fair, so was the crash in 21 as well. But still, mamma mia.
Imagine that situation though, because it's like, you're from there. You're racing in Formula. You're from there. Super rare. Like anybody born anywhere is a rare thing. You're in Formula One, super rare. There's a race in your hometown. The race is fucking pinnacle of F1, not in my opinion, but how they sell it. Like, I can't imagine the amount, his whole dad situation and Ferrari, you know, I can't imagine the amount of pressure a person would feel in that situation,
Yeah.
like
Like an incredible amount, bro. Like it's just, yeah, he must feel it. And you look at him and he's always kind of like Charles has got quite a level temperament, like, do you know what I mean? So I don't think pardon me, I don't think he feels it necessarily. I think he feels it, but he doesn't show it outwardly, but he must feel it.
Definitely.
And it's a lot to put on his shoulders, Like I say, really good point. The pinnacle of motorsport essentially is to win Monaco. Like we saw how upset Daniel Ricciardo was when in 2016, I want to say it was 2016 when they fucked up his race strategy and he ended up losing out. Lewis Hamilton as well. I remember Lewis Hamilton when they fucked him in 2015. Was it 15 or 14? I can't remember. But then he was like. You don't know how many chances you get to win Monaco. This could be your last chance to win Monaco. They all want to win it. It's the one they all want to win. So it's not going to be this.
They probably grew up like idolizing Monaco. Like they probably grew up saying that this is like their dream is probably literally I want to win Monaco. So imagine having a pit stop or having an unnecessary mistake by your part. Get in the way of that, like it's a lot.
not great at all. So yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see.
What did you think? It's time, Nyasha. What did you think about your bestie?
Hold on.
You're on mute.
Just had to clear my throat. Right. Estie! Oh.
Estie!
Don't piss me off! Okay? People are trying to say to me that Esteban Ocon's not that guy! Are you crazy? This guy, year after year, consistency! Pulling performances like this out of the bag, pumping up where he shouldn't be. That's what he does. I love this kid so much. Oh, he's so good. That was an incredible lap. Let's not forget, for a moment, he was on pole position. Like, that is crazy. For me, I absolutely love it. For him to stick on fourth, 2 tenths behind Max is just absolutely crazy. Really good performance from Esteban. He should be praised for it. He should be held up in high regards because that was great. And look, if Leclerc doesn't make it, well, which we've kind of assumed he's going to get a penalty, he is, in a great position to get a podium tomorrow, as long as there's no issues with his race and pits and whatever. Like, that's the race I'm going to be watching. Like, I'm going to be tracking Esteban Ocon like a hawk, waiting and praying that he gets into third place, because I think sometimes, like you say, I think today we saw two performances which, for different reasons, will be talked about for a while. And I think Esteban Ocon, at no point do I think was he in like the top 3, top 5. Like, we weren't looking at him in the top 3, top 5. So for him, that is the epitome of hooking a lap up, outperforming your car and putting it somewhere where it's not supposed to be. And look, Mercedes have got to look at themselves. We've bought this upgrade, big upgrade, and there's an Alpine right there in front of us. And that shows that, again, still the drivers don't have enough confidence in the car to do what it needs to do. So yeah, congratulations to Ocon, and obviously congratulations to Pierre Gasly as well in 6th. Some really good results.
Just want to say, just to get some context on Ocon, FP1, he ended 8th. FP2, he ended 10th. FP3, he ended 9th. So this 4th place, out of nowhere, man. Out of nowhere.
Absolutely out of nowhere. I'm so happy. Really happy, man. And I really hope he has a good result tomorrow. For sure.
And Yuki gets points. Yes.
And you
That
can
would be
get
good.
points. That'd be awesome, especially after I think that would be a just reward for the work that he did in Emilia Romagna.
Absolutely, that's a great point.
And also, let me just say, if you have listened to the last pod, there was a sync issue with the sound effects in the second half of the pod for some reason. Sorry, guys. Obviously, I would not want air horns and bombs to go off whilst I was talking about flooding in Italy. So, yeah, apologies for that on my part. Won't happen again. But obviously, it was an honest technical error. Predictions for tomorrow then. Actually, no, give me like your wild prediction. What's your wild prediction?
Yuki said Yuki top 6. Yuki top 6. That's my. And you gotta understand, this is Monaco. I can't say anything like a driver gains 5 positions, because that is like 0% chance almost. So Yuki starting off in 9th, he'll gain at least 3 spots.
Okay, nice. I like it a lot.
Give me yours.
Esteban Ocon win.
Nice. Difficult as heck, but nice.
I would love it if there was some hanky-panky between Alonso and Max. I would. I'm not going to say anymore.
Leclerc is going to get a penalty.
Yeah.
And Alonso was very aggressive. 2 things about Alonso. 1, he was very aggressive during his qualifying. He was very motivated. That looked cool. Number 2, he got 2nd place. And this is, I'm just saying this because I would say this about any driver. He got 2nd place, P2 obviously in qualifying. His team says like, oh man, sorry, you missed it by so little, da da da. Alonso immediately responds, guys, this is amazing. He said, this is magic. Like 3 months ago, we would have never thought this would be us. So you guys all did a great job, da da da. So it was really cool. Again, I would have said this about any driver if I would have heard it about any driver. But hearing Alonso do that with his team was a good message.
Yeah, it's a good message because he's a little snake. So do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
No, I'm joking.
No, it's true. It's true.
No, he is so Machiavellian. Like he is.
That's a great word.
Thank you. When I said it, I was like, oh man, I'm good at this shit. But no,
I'm such a professional.
But no, he is Machiavellian. He's an incredible manipulator of social dynamics. When it's going well, or at the start, I think you see the true side of Alonso when things start to go bad and he's unable to hide frustration and hide how he's feeling. And that's when, he starts to leave teams. But very nice message to the Aston Martin guys.
What did you think? Another quick last question. What did you think about the rookies this time? Oscar is 11th. Logan is 16th. And Oscar 11, Nick 12th, and then Logan is 16th.
Yeah, they've done really well. I know, I think they've all raced around Monaco before in junior categories, so it's not like they've never driven around Monaco. Good result for Nick de Vries. He needed that. Oscar, again, solid, much closer to Lando than Daniel was. So all he's got to do is do that this season, and it's going to be deemed a success. So that's fine. And
that's a great point with him. Yeah.
Yeah, and Logan Sargent as well. I think that is again, solid if unspectacular. So we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. Interesting race ahead of us. I'm not sure. Something tells me that something special tomorrow's going to happen. I don't know what.
I can see what you mentioned. I can see Max and Alonso. I can see Alonso being very aggressive and Max being just himself.
Yeah.
And then they getting into something. I could see that.
The thing is, I don't know why. I can kind of envision it like undercut, overcut, coming out of the pits, up that corner, up the hill, and maybe at the fucking
Rain Man.
Maybe at the head. I don't know, but I could just see a situation where Alonso thinks I've got one chance to do this, and Max is going to be in a position where he's like, do I yield? My fucking teammate is 10 miles down the road. Do I yield? Just fucking eat shit. But at least I'll take second. Second is worse than not finishing, and just give Alonso the victory. Or do I act like Max Verstappen and do that? So let's see. It'll be a test of his maturity. But in all honesty, he could end up driving off into the distance. But we'll see. What I was gonna say, and now I've forgotten it again, is I've forgotten it. So do you wanna add any comments? The genuine question. Do you want to add any comments about the commentary around Lewis' grill and all of that? No, we'll save that for the main podcast. I want to cook him. I want to cook him nicely. I haven't even seen all of the comments either, so I need to go back and see the cooking that he's getting.
I just saw like 2 or 3 because of you. 2 or 3 classic ignorance shit.
Yeah, for sure. But you know what? Let's not rain on all the Max's fans by starting to talk about diversity. They'll fucking join. They've had a good pod today. So, guys, thank you for watching. If you've got this far, make sure you are slamming that like and subscribe button. Also, make sure to give us a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcast review, and if you want to add a free stream, sign up to the Patreon. We'll be back after the Monaco Grand Prix, which will be with you on Tuesday.
Is the Queen going to be there?
Yeah, I presume so. I think I'm going to be seeing her / watching it with her tomorrow. So that'll be nice. That'll be nice.
So jealous.
So I have to fucking cook for her. So I have to water her and feed her like I just bought a plant.
Okay, so I'm jealous. I'm jealous for Tandy, not you.
Yeah. Nothing to be jealous about on my part, to be honest. But thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We know we're putting out a lot of content right now, so you guys that are keeping up with all of it. I can barely keep up with content creators that put out something like twice a week, and you're getting something like 3 times a week from us, 4 times if you're on the Patreon. So that is incredible. So thank you. It's appreciated. And thank you, Mario, for your stint on the last 3 podcasts in a row. So that's very much appreciated if you include the Patreon. And where can people find you?
Thank you, Nyasha. People can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mario_APM.
There you go. Go hit Mario up. And guys, much appreciated. We'll see you after Monaco Grand Prix.
One more interruption. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Nyasha. The video that you made on Lewis Hamilton and his commentary, I forget the soccer player. That was a great video. That was a great message. I don't know if you want to do some quick context on it, but it was a great video.
Quickly. No, it was just, I'll put it in the link below. It was just, obviously, like, the racism that Vinny Jr. experienced, a whole stadium calling him a monkey. And obviously they asked Lewis about it, obviously, as they do, not like they'd ask anyone else.
No one never.
And he spoke really eloquently about it. And, I guess that's how my mind kind of works when I get an idea for videos, like I can see pictures and videos and I can kind of see what he was saying. So, he's just talking about how other people in football have gone through it, how he's gone through it, all of the stuff he's gone through. And I just made a nice little video about it just to kind of highlight it and just raise awareness around just the fact that there's still loads of discrimination in sport today, you know, whether, you know, it's from fans, whether it's from journalists, whether it's from, you know, people within the sport itself, you know. Unfortunately, racism and discrimination of all kinds is still a thing, and yeah, fucking bullshit. But what can you do other than just try and spread some light and do as well as you can?
Go check it out. The images that you used during the video were very powerful, very cool. Not cool, I'm sorry, but you know, it was very powerful and very good for the message.
That's all right. No, thank you very much. Well, look, we got to go. Otherwise, Chris is going to kick my ass. He's got so much editing to do. Guys, I love you so much. We'll see you after the Monaco Grand Prix. Remember, no matter what life throws at you, keep it on a black star pitch, hoping for a good Grand Prix. Goodbye. Look, mate, if you've got this far, clearly you like what we do. So here's a link to subscribe to the Quick Stop F1 family. Give that a click. And here's another link to some more cool on our channel. Sorry, cool stuff. And remember, no matter what happens, keep it on the black stuff. Click the stuff. Click the links. Click the links. Click the links. There. They're there.